Speaking out from prison tonight, CBS Austin sits down with Greg Kelley. In 2014, a jury found the former Leander High School football star guilty in the sexual assault of a child.
Now, new information in the case is bringing Kelley new hope. CBS Austin's Melanie Torre went to Huntsville, where Kelley has faith he'll soon be a free man.
From inside a state prison in Huntsville,
I feel good today.
22-year-old Greg Kelley's hope has reached new heights.
You can't stop the truth from coming forward.
In 2013, Kelley was accused of sexually assaulting a child at a friend's mother's in-home daycare. At the time, he was a senior football player at Leander High School. 1 year later, Kelley was convicted. But from the start, he's remained firm, insisting his innocence still today.
Did you have any role in the sexual assault of a child at that at-home daycare?
No, not at all.
The DA reopened Kelley's case, and evidence may point to someone else committing the crime.
I believe that I was innocent and nothing happened. So when you set your mind on that for so long and you find out that, wait a second, maybe something did happen, now the question rises, who did it?
No one new has been charged, but Kelley's defense team points to an alternative suspect.
If something's coming forward and there's another suspect, please be beyond a shadow of a doubt.
That person is no stranger to Kelley.
I don't know if he's guilty or not, but I'm just going to let the evidence come forward. What I'm concerned about the most is for them to get this right and to come to a conclusion and for justice prevail, because there's not just one victim here. There's two.
In prison, Kelley attends chapel classes and lives in a faith-based dorm. He's made friends, but it's the friends on the outside that keep him going.
Just telling me, man, just hang in there. We're fighting for you.
If Kelley's conviction were overturned, he'd be eligible for $80,000 for every year he spent in prison. But he says time is priceless. Reporting in Huntsville, Melanie Torre, CBS Austin News.
CBS Austin's Melanie Torre is live in Georgetown, where his family and friends rallied tonight. Melanie.
Well, many of them say they have lost their faith in a system that they are sure got this wrong for Kelley. They say they have not lost faith in his fight.
3 years after Greg Kelley was sentenced to prison, those who know him best aren't giving up hope.
And I know who my son is, and he's innocent.
If you're going to put an 18-year-old away for 25 years, let's make sure we've got the right person.
Greg Kelley is back in Williamson County tonight. It's the first time he's been this close to home in 2.5 years. CBS Austin's Melanie Torre is live at the Williamson County Jail. Melanie, Kelley's family got to visit with him there tonight.
Yes, they did, Hema. I spoke briefly with his family and friends this evening.
With his handcuffs removed, a quick glance and a wave, Greg Kelley is back in Georgetown, where his parents, girlfriend, brothers, and family friend Pam Brimberry were waiting.
They hugged, they clutched, they cried, they just tried to enjoy the moment as best as they could.
Now that he's back in Williamson County, he's eligible for bond and could be released anytime between now and August 3rd. That's when everybody will be back in court to see where Kelley's case goes from here.
Melanie Torre is live in Williamson County tonight. Melanie, Kelley's defense team is working to pin this crime on someone else.
That person is someone who was one of Kelley's good friends at the time, Jonathan McCarty.
McCarty's mother ran the in-home daycare where the child said he was molested. New evidence given to the DA's office today includes an alleged confession. Another piece of new evidence comes from a parent who sent their child to McCarty's mother's daycare. The parent says their 8-year-old mistook Kelley's photo for McCarty's after seeing it on TV. The defense believes the 4-year-old victim could have also gotten the two confused.
Do you think Jonathan McCarty is guilty of the crime that you're here serving time for?
I don't know. I'm gonna let that all just unravel.
Tonight, Greg Kelley is waiting for release on bond.
But the DA says it's not that simple. For Sean Dick, the priorities remain making sure this case is handled correctly, the community's faith in the justice system is restored, and that the truth comes to light.
Certainly that's what I hope for, is just clarity.
Greg Kelley's friends and family left the courthouse in shock today. Testimony from a Cedar Park police investigator has them fired up.
I was sitting directly behind Greg Kelley's mom, and all throughout throughout the hearing, she kept shaking her head in disbelief. Under oath, Daley admitted he never physically went to the scene of the crime, nor did he interview any other adults in the house where the sexual assault happened. He testified the victim told him someone else, Jonathan McCarty, was involved in the crime, but he said he didn't investigate that lead because he thought the child was confused.
Melanie, after all of this investigating, the ranger says he's still not sure who did it.
That's right, Hema. He says it could be Greg Kelley or Jonathan McCarty or a third person whose name he would not reveal. That Texas Ranger, whose name is Cody Mitchell, says during the course of his investigation, he found numerous standard investigating procedures not completed by Cedar Park Police.
The Williamson County DA's office says mistakes were made during his trial in 2014.
Kelley's family hoped he would bond out of jail today, but they tell me they've waited this long. What's a little longer? They say they feel grateful and empowered after this hearing. Kelley's mom says she now believes in justice.
But everything is pointing to the right direction. And I give, for all this, I give the glory to our Lord.
Amen. Rosa Kelley is counting down the days until her son walks out of jail.
This is not the way our justice system is supposed to work.
And people ask me all the time, why are you fighting for Greg? Because I did this to him, because I elected the former DA. And I've allowed incompetency to creep into our police department.
Breaking tonight, new details in the Greg Kelley case. He's the man fighting to prove his innocence after being convicted of sexually assaulting a child years ago.
We just got our hands on these documents minutes ago. This was filed by the Texas Ranger who started investigating this case in March. This is the first time we're hearing the Texas Ranger say on several occasions Greg Kelley was evasive and or dishonest during his interviews with the Ranger. We reached out to District Attorney Sean Dick about this newly filed paperwork, and he tells us the Rangers are continuing to investigate all three suspects in the case, and from time to time will continue their investigation through the use of search warrants until they have only one suspect or run out of leads.
It's so surreal right now. I couldn't process this.
Breaking news tonight, Greg Kelley is a free man today. He walked out on bond after serving 3 years of his sentence.
We have live team coverage tonight on his release. CBS Austin's Melanie Torre explains what's next, and Raven Ambers has reaction from his biggest supporters.
But first, we want to hear from Greg Kelley himself. When asked if Kelley had a message for the parents of the child victim, he said this.
I'm sorry, but I didn't do that to your child. Someday I hope I can meet you and I can explain to you that it wasn't me. I just hope that we can have peace in this moment.
Kelley says he's grateful to finally be out, and he knows the truth will prevail. Mel, you're at the Court of Criminal Appeals where Kelley's case is headed now.
Yes, it is. Well, the district judge who's been hearing Kelley's case in Williamson County has until September 16th to send her recommendations to the justices here, though Kelley's attorney tells us he's confident it won't take her that long to explain why she thinks Kelley's conviction should be overturned.
It was almost unreal.
As Greg Kelley made his way out of jail, closer than ever to freedom, his attorney Keith Hampton wasn't far behind.
It was no pun intended, very liberating.
While this marks a huge step in Kelley's legal battle, it's not the last step, and going back to prison is still on the table.
He knows it. I'm not ruining this day, but we've had that conversation many times.
Today, District Judge Donna King put in writing why she thinks Kelley's 2013 investigation and 2014 trial were unfair. She cites inadequate work by Cedar Park Police Detective Chris Daley and ineffective assistance from Kelley's original trial lawyer, who advised him to waive his right to appeal when the judge thinks she shouldn't have. The investigation into who committed the crime is ongoing. The Texas Rangers say suspects include Greg Kelley, Kelley's former friend Jonathan McCarty, and a third person who has yet to be named. Kelley's lawyer is pinning it on McCarty and says no reasonable jury would find Kelley guilty today.
I'm not asking you to convict Jonathan. Would you convict Greg Kelley?
The Court of Criminal Appeals gets the final say in what happens next, and it could take as long as a year for them to make up their minds.
So it is not over. And you don't know what's going to happen. They're the state's highest court. They can do kind of what they want to do.
There are three likely options for Kelley's case moving forward. One is that he's granted a new trial. The second is that he's sent back to prison to finish serving that 25-year sentence. Or the third is that the Court of Criminal Appeals finds him actually innocent, therefore making him eligible for about $240,000 in state compensation. Reporting live in downtown Austin, Melanie Torre, CBS Austin News.